Just looking forward to watch Emong, because Emong has been a monster, and he's one of the few Roadhogs in all of Overwatch, in my opinion, who can take over a game single-handedly. So that's who I have my eyes on.
Emong definitely one of the more impact Roadhogs in the game, and we've seen him have just enormous games with Selfless, particularly when we look back to that game versus Rogue on Dorado, but so much more as well. So Selfless, taking it a bit slow right now, ground and pounding their way through the CLG defense, and they're forcing CLG back a bit. All they need now is a good hook from Emong to really rip this wide open.
There's the hook, he gets Shiny, but Shiny's able to stay alive, gets a shield up, Hydration helps him out by putting the defense matrix on him. Regardless, they've given up one free tick. Of course, tick's not the end-all be-all on King's Row offense, as most of the defense still alive here. In fact, everyone is. If Waffle goes down as Fran, now the floodgates have opened.
That charge perhaps a little bit ill-advised, but Selfless starting to get the kills they need here. Defran in a great position to pepper the remainder of the defense and move it forward. And Miso does get a nano boost here, but
yeah,
not much you can do when you're that outnumbered.
That was generally my response to it. I guess you're just trading the nano for a possible Graviton incoming, because they probably know that Sinatra is going to have his, and they might need to counter-grab that. It's the only reason I can see for boosting him that late, because there is no way they win that fight, even with that boost.
Well, guys, I got good news for you in case anyone was worried about this. Sinatra's crouch button is very much working right now as he sits here prepped on a Graviton. Both teams will have Graviton in this upcoming fight, so it could be a tale of two Zaryas, but Miso will have significantly less support than Sinatra will as far as supplemental ultimates.
Well, they're taking this kind of weird angle up top, and Emong exposes himself, and he gets Slept Dart. Oh, wow, the counter shatter on the cart!
Big Earth Shatter coming in from Kresnik to set that up. The fall-through isn't necessarily there immediately, and we actually see CLG fighting this back. They have to blow support ultimates and Sound Barrier to do it, but still pretty even back and forth. Earth Shatter comes in from CLG, and that will seal the deal, so Selfless, despite having a lot of tools to go in there, kind of caught off guard.
You cannot say enough about Shake's sleep darts. He's already hit two that have been enormous. He got Emong, who was coming through the stairs on a Roadhog flank, and then he got a boosted Waffle Tastic, or sorry, Defran.
Graviton's out for both sides, but Selfless stands above when everything settles. 2 kills from them off of the incredible group hug treatment, and though Sinatra gets slapped by Shake, things are still looking pretty good for Selfless, as they should be able to roll this cart very close to second. And this is a real question that you have, Hex, in this case. If you're CLG, do you contest this? I think they do, but there's a high risk involved if it fails.
I think they have to. You never really want to give up this point for free. It can be so important to bring it back, and they've got some ults to work with.
Well, Waffle is going to be coming up over the top. Tac Visor up and ready. Nano Boost going to be supporting him, and he just tears through Defran like he's tissue paper. Looking for a little bit more. 5 versus 5, and Waffle didn't have a whole lot of other targets to go in on here, not even able to finish the Rhine, and CLG has not won this fight by any stretch of the imagination. You got rid of the big threat into Fran, but you still have 5 angry players ready to dive in. That said, Kresnik ends up falling and does not end up dropping the hammer, despite what he said.
Well, the hammer does come out from the other side, and both Doc and Michael go down. Emong will be quick to fall as well. They've had to use a lot of ults to be able to hold on at this point, so the swing back from Selfless should be pretty strong here. However, they're still going to have like 3 up. Actually, you know what? It's just been the Earth Shatter and the early Visor, so never mind.
Well, can we talk about Sinatra's Graviton there, where most of his team was dead and he tried to go full hero mode? That seems somewhat ill-advised, because going into this next fight, they could have had 4 ultimates, which would have been a pretty good look versus what CLG has, but now they don't have a Graviton. Miso has his Graviton up, and there's a lot of ways that CLG can engage this fight successfully now.
Yeah, Miso is going to have his grab up, but I think he'd be better served just holding it until they present themselves a good opportunity. Another great hammer from both sides. Chaos on the point.
Kresnik drops the hammer and takes down everyone who is even thinking about dealing with Defran's Nano Visor flank. Selfless wins that fight with ease, and Miso doesn't even get the chance to drop a Graviton to equalize, so who needs a Graviton anyways, says Sinatra.
I think they dealt with Defran's flank too. I think he might have got slept early on, so the Shatter was so important to make sure that they're able to stay in that fight. As you mentioned, Graviton's still going to be on the ready here, but it just goes in. Self-destruct comes behind.
Shiny casually sauntering into that Graviton, swing the hammer, and ends up dying. Now, doesn't quite get the kills he's looking for, and Selfless can still turn this right back around. Waffle has to invest the Tac Visor, boosted by the Nano to try and go back in, finds Dak, and is well set up for more. But in a sense, that's almost a bit of a win for Selfless that you made CLG burn those ultimates towards the end, and this fight still isn't over. Defran's coming back in. It's not over yet.
Defran does more without tactical visors or boost than any other Soldier 76 in the game. You can make the argument that he is the top Soldier 76 in the game. He's going to have that tactical visor and a boost if they need it. The grab will come in, and what is with these aggressive Kings Row? Sinatra cleaning house.
Sinatra setting it up pretty well there towards the end. Defran piling on with the Tac Visor. Probably didn't even need it with how that fight worked out, but Selfless now in victory position here. They only need a little bit more, and they can deal with the spawns as they come in. However, there is a wild card here. If there could be a little bit more stall, Miso has a Graviton, and nope, there's not a little bit more stall.
Did Shiny get booped out of that charge? Because he needs to charge to the cart in that situation.
I think he did, but I'm not sure.
I'm giving benefit of the doubt, I guess.
Yeah, let's give benefit of the doubt there.
No, he definitely got booped, but
okay.
I think Miso dying at the last second, he probably should have hidden or something, because he stuck at 90%. If he had gotten a bubble onto that Reinhardt, they actually could have held, but it was just unfortunate timing, I think.
Well, I mean, for CLG, it was really their offense more than their defense last time at Kings Row. And they were going to need a similar performance here if they're going to want to win this match. I don't believe they're going to have as big of a run as they did last time. I think Selfless has shown why they've liked to go to Kings Row on their home maps.
One thing that really strikes out to me about how Selfless plays relative to a lot of other teams in the Western scene is that Selfless doesn't really have endpoints to their fights. Fights that a team like Immortals would absolutely retreat from and call for a full regroup, where Immortals is probably on the other end of the spectrum. They lose one person, everyone backs out. Selfless can lose two people in the beginning of the fight, and you'll still have someone like Sinatra scrapping it out and trying to turn it back. And oddly enough, Selfless is actually pretty successful in that level of pressure and making it work.
I mean, the biggest difference in this matchup to me is it's a straight mirror, except for Emong's on Roadhog, Hydration's on D.Va. Hydration's trying to shut down Defran as much as possible, and it can eat grabs, which they can. And Emong's trying to get as many hooks and to get Hydration out of that mech.
Yeah, it's really actually a nice combination to deal with the D.Va, is the only thing that really shuts down Defran is a D.Va, or if you just go full dive on him and start sending Winstons after him too. Now when the D.Va flies up, she can be a pretty easy target for Emong to just grab out of the air, and then Defran can run wild yet again. So it's really about playing around your best players. That's what they're doing. I also think Kresnik gets a little bit overlooked in this team a lot of times. The last 3 or 4 tournaments I've seen him play in, he's gotten better and better, and his Reinhardt play has been phenomenal.
Well, it's a nice on-a-nade early on to build some charge for Michael 3D here. CLG gonna shrug it off, move right in. And this is going to be about as ground and pound as it gets. Not very divey at all between both teams as they trade out poke early on. And CLG looking to make consistent progress, aided by the D.Va Zarya setup. iShiny looking for the right moment to charge, but so far, both teams are struggling for an advantage. Waffletastic almost getting taken out by Defran, but Hydration is there! Shuts down Defran, 5 versus 5, but this is a good look for CLG.
It is, absolutely, and Miso is going to try to get something back, so at least Emong is down. Now, if the offense can start making trades, it always benefits them on this map. The spawn is just a little bit closer, but Kresnik taking down Shiny, they're going to have to think twice. The trades have not been lopsided enough.
The interesting thing is that even when they were down a player, Selfless still played like they weren't and pressuring back at CLG, and they forced CLG back. Sinatra, nano boosted, drops the Graviton as Miso goes for the ride, and Sinatra pulls this fight back. This will give Selfless plenty of time to get respawns back in, and it sends CLG back to the drawing board.
This is what I fell in love with Selfless first, though. It's when they were spawn camping, and this wasn't their composition that they ran necessarily. Of course, Sinatra played a lot more Tracer then, but they only have one gear, and it's Go, and it's such a fun style to watch, and they just believe that they have the mechanical capabilities to win fights that they really shouldn't win, and they're not super concerned with ult economy. They just want to win fights, and they want to take as many fights as humanly possible.
Well, Sinatra is building up his next Graviton in a hurry, so the window of Graviton v no Grav is actually going to be pretty short. CLG needs to fire this off sooner rather than later. They're rotating around the flank, and they're being very slow in their setup, and meanwhile Sinatra keeps going up in charge. So I would like CLG to pull the trigger here, and no, the only trigger that's pulled is a Roadhog hook. Takes Miso out of the fight. There will be no Grav here, and that hurts. Shiny dropping the hammer.
Wait.
Does it? What?
What
was he drop his hammer against?
Yeah, he was up top there.
I don't know. I don't know, but he at least grabs Kresnik for a bit of a revenge, but there's Sinatra, gets the Graviton, and it only sets up for one kill. He ends up dying for it as Defran tries to pull this back with Attack Visor, and somewhat is. It's relatively close between the teams, but Defran is well protected up here. The problem is they need someone on the point to stop the progress.
Well, CLG had a really cool rotation where they all went up top and then they kept going deeper and deeper. The grab will come in late here. Iman getting very low, but the counter shatter does knock down Waffle. A lot of their damage gone to Fran with the boost now on him. See what he can be done.
Defran gonna get slept, but is woken up. Do not wake up the nano boosted soldier. That's how bad things happen as Waffle-tastic is quickly finding out. Pooped out of his healing field and taken down, although they lose the point while that's going on. Still though, it's a pretty gutsy defense from Selfless that bought themselves pretty significant amount of time.
I do like that they've decided if we need to send 6 to go deal with Defran, that's exactly what they're going to do. So they sent 6 up there, had them in a good spot where it was just Defran and Michael up there. They got 1 kill. That's when we saw probably the Fat Finger Earth Shatter come down from Eye Shiny, or maybe it was just an Intimidation Shatter, you know, like Viking War Drums. But regardless, now they have 3 minutes to get to second point here. Not a whole lot on the field from either side. Defran will have Visor up momentarily. That will be the next ult on the field. And Shiny's getting close to a Shatter as well.
I think CLG did their homework here. Hydration is just sitting here waiting for the Defran flank, but he leaves and then comes back in. So Defran thinks he's leaving, ends up getting chased back while this is going on. Meanwhile, Aishani dropped an Earth Shower there and didn't get anything from it, so Selfless still somewhat ahead in this game of 4D chess that's going on. Defran has Attack Visor, doesn't want to throw it into Defense Matrix, but now will use it to try and go in, but the Sound Bear really stops what he wants to do here. Either way, 5 versus 5, and the Graviton eventually opens up Defran for those kills.
And Defran just lurking up top, waiting for that moment to strike, and he just goes unnoticed up there. Will finally hit a Helix onto Mikado as well. And the defense does stabilize here, and you're getting down to 2 pushes here for the offense to come in. You have to start looking for those combinations, but they're a little further away. They're a little behind in all of the ults, mostly because when Selfless has won these fights, they've won them very one-sided. They're going to have the ult advantage in this next fight, too.
Time is deceptive here, where you go, oh, you have 2 minutes, but it takes a while to bring this payload through, so Selfless is in a very good position. Still, the Graviton is going to come in, pulls in 2 members of Selfless, the self-destruct to the back takes down 2. It's a well-executed combo from CLG, and yet, Selfless not out of this fight. Most teams I'd say they're out, but Selfless has a way of finding their way back, but Defran ends up falling. Sinatra one of the last ones alive, and though he's charged up and has a Graviton, I think he will think better of throwing himself into that in a 1v3.
A really nice grab into self-destruct combination. Hydration bowling it around, and like a little bit of billiards play where he just banks it in off the cart. They can't get the shield to cover everyone based on the angle of that Graviton. 2 end up falling for it, and they've really swung this around. However, there are a ton of ults still on Selfless' side. If any sort of execution come down here, the great. Shiny throws his Shatter into nothing.
Throws a Shatter. Oh no! He had to charge on the Kruznik and ends up falling into the pit. Meanwhile, CLG still make it work with a great Attack Visor Waffle, takes down 3, and they will punch it right through.
Well, speaking of throwing into nothing, I believe that Sinatra's Graviton ended up getting eaten somewhere along, or yeah, I think Hydration must have nommed on that one, and that's a huge throw right there as they were trying to sell out to stall on his second point. They are going to get a worse time, no matter what, because they're only at 2 minutes left. But if they can finish this map, that is another grab. Wait, no, never mind, sorry.
No, it wasn't. The Graviton landed further away. So not quite nommed on, but Iman winning this fight nonetheless. Don't tell Iman to care about Graviton as Hydration goes to visit the Omnic Development Complex down below.
Alright, sorry, it's been that kind of day for grabs. It's been, the last couple days have been, the last 2 months have been rough for Zarya. If we're being really honest about how it's been for the Gravitons and their fate in the world. Last great push incoming here. They should have a couple of things to work with, but this Selfless team is just gutty.
Iman creeping right now, doesn't quite get the flank he's looking for, and decides he's going to go even deeper on the flank. Coming back in, Earth Shatter from Kruznik, not really doing much for Selfless, so they're going to have to find a different way of winning this fight. Sound Barrier in from CLG, and, Sound Barrier in from Selfless, and they use the push in deeper, getting 2 kills off of that, and again pushing it back, and Hex, we're down to the final minute.
Down to the final minute, and they just have to get out, hopefully, but they're going to get chased. They do not want to let them all get in full-on 6 mode, although they are all back into spawn. Hydration doesn't get demaxed, but he should be able to switch and get back out onto what he wants to play here, and it's time to throw it all. It's time to Q at the wall and hope that something hits, which seems to be the theme of this set so far. There's a Q.
Shadow gonna be dropped by iShiny, does not connect. Graviton in from Sinatra, does connect. 3 members in, forces out the sound barrier. DeFran still gets his pound of flesh before it's all said and done. 5 versus 5, but the Sinatra right click, taking down Mikado. And Selfless gutting this one out, getting the last few kills, and if it's not over yet, DeFran has a tack visor up to seal the deal.
They do back up because they want to push one more time, mostly off the back of Miso's grab. I think they hope they can get something done here. There will also be a boost. The card has now reverted back far enough that they will be able to touch it. This is going to be the last push. If they finish this map, it's going to be overtime.
Well, they are able to get back on the payload surprisingly quick here. They have the Graviton in reserve. And Miso looking for a good opportunity, but no, Kresnik drops a hammer and gets booped into the pit! But Tanks trading out. There's the Graviton in, and Selfless there for the follow-through. And they just sent a D.Va to her death. Emon, great hooks in this. Could be a final fight, and it will be. Selfless defending here in King's Row.
Miso dies with the Graviton still in his gun. Well, he used it outside of spawn, but knocked down, unable to get the grab up in that last fight. This Selfless team is fun and stressful to watch at the same time.
I don't
No doubt about it.
like the Hydration D.Va against this comp. I think Shiny had the roughest game of Reinhardt I've ever watched. I don't think any of his shatters connected on any usable amount of people throughout the entire match. I'm surprised they're even able to get that far without that. That said too, Miso's been holding onto these grabs a lot harder than Sinatra has, and you can see the confidence a little bit more from this team, but I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that Emon was just pressuring the Reinhardt and bullying the D.Va the whole game.
Yeah, they are breaking shield much faster. And Selfless, no matter even if they are down 1 or 2 people in a fight, will continue to go forward and to take these fights. And I think a lot of that is that confidence. I mean, Sinatra's going up against a D.Va that could eat his Graviton, which did happen one time. But most of the time, he doesn't care. And he'll push through anyway, and he'll make sure that he gets charge up high and he does enough damage. And for me, that's why Selfless wanted to go to King's Row. Even though CLG played pretty well earlier, that is one of their home maps. Them going to Lijiang now is not surprising to me. I would think they would want to go to a Control just based on how they played earlier, and Lijiang is very good for Farah Mercy, so it wouldn't surprise me if that came out again.
All right, so we know what the next map is going to be. Next map will be Lijiang Tower, choice of CLG here. Will this work out in their favor, guys, or is Selfless perhaps too strong on Control?
I mean, Selfless is giving Rogue a really hard time on Control, so this is not going to be easy for CLG. Also, DeFran, as we talk about his soldier play, also not going to be making it easy on Farah Mercy. I mean, I've got to give the edge a little bit to Selfless.
I would
Yeah, I think
agree.
it'll come down to Emon, personally. Whether or not, I don't know if he's going to play Roadhog or 76 or what, but it seems to be on his shoulders, I would say, generally.
I would say, I would think he would stay on the Roadhog and they'll stick to this 2-2-2. And Sinatra more than likely on Tracer. Tracer's been, you know, perma pick on Control for nearly every team.
As it should be. So him versus Waffle will be a battle to watch on the ground. Yeah, I wonder if DeFran's 76 is enough to dissuade Counter Logic from trying to run Pharmacy. It's that good.
I mean, part of the CLG's tactics they need to focus on is to put it on Michael 3D. And they need to try to kill him as many times as possible. I mean, of course, we talk about this in these pro games of killing the Ana or the Zen. But I would say that was maybe one of the weaker points of the Selfless lineup. And if you can get rid of the healing, then they will have a better chance, obviously.
Well, those sounds you hear are the sounds of Lijiang Tower, where CLG will either rise or fall, looking to extend the series against Selfless and get the upset win. Selfless, meanwhile, looking to maintain their dominance and try and make this their monthly melee, where a lot of people still do favor Selfless to win it all. But To do that, they are going to have a good showing against CLG here. Lijiang Tower is CLG's map pick. Here we go.
So it will be triple tank and Defron on Tracer, which is also really good. You know, Sinatra has been playing Zarya so well lately that, you know...
Yeah.
He like loves it. Even in pubs, he picks it on purpose, like over Tracer if he can. I think it's just a comfort pick for him. I think he actually likes his Zarya more than his Tracer.
So they have combo, they have insta-kill everything. That might actually help CLG out a little bit if Shake can hide and make sure he doesn't get caught.
Oh, easier said than done, Pharmacy.
That's said that
will...
they have no hit scan. I mean, except for Tracer, but...
I mean, Emong, he's pretty good at those right clicks. The flat cannon in the sky.
And normally I'd say no, but with Emong, I'm not going to doubt anything just yet. Either way, I think Selfless, the real strategy here is going to be more ground and pound, just try and win the ground more and make Hydration beat them, which very well could be something Hydration is willing to do, but we'll just have to see. Both teams trying up poke here. Better positioning for CLG in theory, but now they're actually getting bullied a bit off of the point. Selfless able to move in, using the inherent tankiness of their comp to their advantage, and they almost get the quick control. That would have been disaster for CLG, but the fact that they almost got forces CLG to dive in. They get 2 kills from Hydration, but Defran does even more on the ground.
Yeah, Defran with the 2 kills, Sinatra nearly at 80% charge, and he's being the anti-air right now. He's putting so much damage onto Hydration, does finally beam him down with the help of Defran, and that means that Shake also not long for this world.
So I think that could be a signal of things to come here, where Hydration should be able to get a lot done on Pharah, but you look at the ground forces of Selfless, Defran able to pile on, and not a lot stopping him there on the Tracer. Now he has a pulse bomb up for this next fight, and there's a lot of clump CLG members there. They really need to be careful as Mikado takes this one-on-one versus Defran. Lucio versus Tracer here in the back, and Mikado not able to get to the health pack. Reinforcements coming in a little bit too late, and this push already going a little bit tough here for CLG.
I mean, what do you try to kill with the Pharmacy, though? Do you go really deep in back and try to flank around and get the supports? Because it's going to be so difficult to deal with any one of these tanks. Sinatra's going to be protecting people on the ground, too. I feel the target selection is small here. They will barrage Michael. That's a nice start.
Michael gets barraged out. Sinatra still holding on to the grab, and he drops it right at the feet of 3 members of CLG, and Fran is there with the follow-through.
There's the res.
Big bang combo, but you're right, the resurrection comes in, deals with a lot of the effects of that, and yet Defran is still a threat here. Defran is yet to be dealt with, so Hydration can fly around all he wants. He's not able to protect Shake, and Defran is just tearing people apart.
Well, they res right into an Earthshatter. Crescent put everyone on the ground. Defran's even going to get boosted for good measure here as he is just tearing up the ground. You're absolutely right. Last good chance for CLG incoming here, and they're going to have to do it against a whole hog and against a pulse bomb. Defran has a reasonable chance of just closing this map out.
Absolutely, where if he can get in on the right clump of CLG players, that's going to be a special delivery. Shake goes down, and honestly, Hydration is lucky it did get him as well. Shake was flying to him as it stuck. No mercy in this fight. Selfless with a big edge already. Self-destruct comes in, finds Dak. So CLG still has some options here, but they're going to have to deal with both Emong and Defran as Defran just tears into Hydration.
Sinatra is still on the point, trying to get Miso down. The tanks will come in now. Miso is able to get a couple of kills. They're looking to grab control of this point for the first time on the map. They do so, but at 99%, they have to be flawless throughout.
Miso willing CLG back into the game, but unfortunately for them, the way that this is going to break down is that they must hold every fight from here on out. Easier said than done because they're going to have to win 1 if not 2 fights at an ult disadvantage. So I would say for CLG, let's take a look at Waffle here, who can buy some time with a good stick. The stick is in, and there it is. Sinatra blown up immediately. That's a contribution CLG needs if they want to win this fight, but the hook equalizes. Emong turns it right back into a 5 versus 5 and is rolling onto the point for more.
Sticking Azari is always a dangerous proposition. You have to know those cooldowns perfectly, because otherwise you're just feeding her power in some of those situations. The Sound Barrier will come out for CLG as they try to come in. A beautiful barrage gets 2 from Hydration.
The problem there for CLG is that they lost progress in the middle. They backed fully off the point. Selfless ends up ninjaing it right back, and it could have been worse, but that was easily another 10% CLG could have had there. Either way, they survived for now, but they're pretty low on ultimates, and two very impactful tank ultimates are heading their way. Kresnik gets first crack at the Earth Shatter. Sinatra will probably get a grab in the middle of the fight. They have to dodge both of these if they want to maintain control, survive, and stall this out.
Well, they don't have to, but Shake definitely does. He's going to have the Resurrection back online. They're going to initiate with the Sound Barrier, everyone healthy, and Sinatra even gets the boost. They sleep Miso, try to put him out and demech him.
Well, Shake, that Resurrection should be on call in just a moment here because this is going entirely in favor of Selfless. Shake flies right in. Heroes never die, but Miso certainly does. Earth Shatter comes in off the res, and Kresnik just ruins their day.
Well, the combo is up here now inside. The whole hog's going to push them out through that window. Waffle's going to come in, try to stall. This combo is going to barrage down onto Iman. Somehow they live through this. Doc is actually taken to the sky. Anti-air Lucio.
Has to be anti-air something. Hydration still alive, under fire from all sources here. This inner room not very hospitable to him, and yet still alive, still getting healed up, and finds Defran. So CLG fighting their way back in. The tank play buying enough room, and Hydration manages to survive with the heals coming in from Shake. And Hex, not only have they retaken this here, Shake's gonna have a res for the next fight. Selfless, that was their time to win this round, and it has fluttered away from them.
Absolutely, and they will have one more fight. The good thing they have going for them is double support ultimates, and the boost should be interesting here. That can't happen, though, if you want to have a good chance of this fight. Defran going out before it even begins.
This is going to have to be the Emong and Sinatra show, but they don't have many tools to go with it. Mikado drops a sound barrier, everyone protected. They trade out sound barriers, but it's Hydration with the barrage over the top, removes Sinatra from the equation, and CLG might have just brought this one back, Hex, as they are getting all the kills they need.
They use barrages better than most teams, and it is fully a team effort. It's generally off of a heal, getting double healed. There's always something that makes sure that, yes, as Uber pointed out earlier, Q can often be kill one person and respawn. However, it's not the case for CLG. Hydration gets barrage value, at least one or two every time, but more importantly lives through it, which cannot be overstated.
At that point, they're not running Diva or 76 on the side of Selfless, so it's a little cocky for them to come into these fights like this. I mean, Hydration was hitting a ridiculous amount of rockets in general, and it was just giving him and Shake ult at a ridiculously fast rate, but I mean, CLG definitely cleaned up well there. There were a lot of fights where I thought maybe they should have lost, but they squeezed out these like very narrow victories and even gave up the point just to make sure that people weren't dying.
I will say, though, that these might become the unfriendly skies here, because now you have Defran back on his signature 76 and Defran on the Robo-Monk as Zenyatta. So now Discord Orbs will be flying on the Hydration, and Defran's tracking will be there as well. So it puts a lot of pressure on Miso to nullify Defran here. That said, Defran under heavy pressure early on, has to dodge out, but still manages a way to get back out and kill Hydration. Gives up his life, though, as Mikado comes out of nowhere. Very even fight here between the two teams.
It's just alternating back and forth between these two teams. Waffle does end up taking down both parts of Kresnik there. And it's going to be a Tracer battle on the point where both supports still alive in it. Tracer v Tracer can be so strange to watch. It's just an AD-AD battle, but Defran takes down Shake as he re-enters the fray.
Hydration also getting rid of Sinatra, so back and forth this is right now. Hydration, though, in a good position, just needs to avoid Defran here as CLG has taken first control, but the pressure coming in from Selfless relenting, and they're able to take down Miso right away.
First cap comes in. Can Shiny get his Primal Rage? Oh, so close. I really think that was the right choice from him there to come in, because if he gets Primal Rage, that gets them another at least 5-10%.
So Selfless able to get control of the point. CLG, though, starts off things well, and will have plenty of tools at the disposal when they come back in. It's going to be more of an ultimate showdown here, so this next fight could decide the next 40% or so. Early Pulse Bomb comes in from Sinatra, and he ends up falling. The Winston Lucio pressure takes him down, and CLG with a big opportunity here. Defran trying to end that opportunity with Attack Visor, gets one early on, might be able to get more, but where's Shake? Shake is going to dive in and bring two members back to life. The fight continues here for CLG.
Shiny was all over Defran, but they still got a lot of value out of that post-resurrection later sound barrier. Hydration does end up falling, but not before he's already taken down Michael, who has been feeling most of the attention, unwanted attention from Hydration as he's killed him several times so far. They will lose Shake, but so far CLG has gotten the much better side of these numbers here. A little stall out will come from Doc as he tries to get back in through the window. Sinatra comes back in, but not for long.
Sinatra ends up dying, but bear in mind that we're still seeing Selfless hold control at this point. They're stalling it out, and even if the last part wasn't going in their favor, now they have reinforcements in. The Transcendence keeping everyone alive and stalling things out, and now you look at CLG, they're getting poked down. 3 members almost dead as Selfless returns to full strength and is on the verge of evicting them from the point.
This has been a little bit crazy. It's almost a blessing to have one of your healers go down first, because with how long these fights have been, it means that your healer is going to be back there for the reinforcement wave, and it's just been back and forth. I cannot say how much it's been between red and blue alternating kills. This has been a little bit insane, but of note, Selfless still holding the point. Iman's going to pop Primal Rage just to make sure that everyone gets jumped off the point, and last-ditch effort here from CLG.
CLG down to their final attempt. Mikado just gonna help speed boost out Shiny here. They gotta engage with the sound barrier immediately, go for the res in case people fall, and there we go. The sound barrier comes in to start things out. Hydration in over the top, diving relentlessly to open things up here. No kills here just yet though. Selfless rope-a-doping this pretty well. Dak though finally will fall, and let's take a look at Shake. Shake is under pressure, but still able to shake it and move to the side. And for CLG should hold.
Both supports went down very, very early, so unless they just completely stop aiming with their mice, they should be able to clean up the remainder of that. They finally do. But at 99% for Selfless.
Selfless only needs to win one fight, and if there's a mini game to be had in this fight, it is let's shoot the healer. The guy shooting the yellow stream at Hydration. If they're able to take down Shake early on, their odds of just taking it out cleanly go very much up, because Shake is packing that Resurrection in reserve. Selfless right now, coming in on 2 flanks. Some going in from the left to get onto the point. Hydration, or Defran in the back, and Hydration ends up going down. No, Defran! Booped right off by Mikado. That's one way of equalizing.
Hydration went down, and that signaled the insta-res out of them, and Michael yet again finds himself under the unfortunate reign of the Justice Barrage over top. And it does look like CLG will be able to hold. However, they forced out the res. We'll see how quickly Shake can get it back, but don't think he'll have it in the next fight. He's only sitting at 16%.
Right now, this is Selfless's window. They're going to have the self-destruct and Transcendence up. They're not going to get a better window to deal with this, because if they fall here, Shake will have a resurrection for what could be the final fight if this is not. So this is do or die now for Selfless. They need a good engage to start this off on the right foot. They do get onto the point, and Kresnik holds on to the self-destruct, but Michael 3D dies early to a long-range rocket. Already kind of rough here from Selfless. Self-destruct in, and CLG looking to finish this one out.
Hydration is beating Michael 3D like he owes him money. Every single fight, he is just the primary target there. Oh, but look at that. Both healers now down for CLG.
This is about as even gets, into Fran coming out the tac visor, looking to finish this out. Not the greatest amount of targets, but finds Miso and very well should finish Hydration. Gets rid of the problems, and Selfless, when the chips are down, end up flipping it in overtime. And now it's the last moment to lay out here from CLG, but it does not look promising. Mikado gives up his life for the cause. And will that D.Va reach in time? It will not.
There were so many fights where Michael died first, but the fights were going so long that after everyone else was dead, they just, here comes in rolling a Zenyatta, able to clean up those like short-handed fights. Like, it was a blessing he got targeted down so early every fight.
Blame?
I mean, so to me, it's very good for CLG that Hydration was able to play that Pharah with such success against a team that's known for having such great hit scan. Like, I mean, they almost brought that back, and they almost did win that map, but, I mean, it was Hydration's Pharah that was doing a lot of the work.
This round will be more difficult, just because Pharah Mercy isn't running as much on here, and Selfless can be more comfortable playing Defran on Chaser again.
Well, that looks exactly like what is going to happen here, where you see Hydration no longer the Pharah going to the D.Va. So this certainly plays more into the Selfless game plan, if nothing else. And speaking of Selfless, we're going to take a look at Emong as he opens things up here, where, if nothing else, in a ground and pound battle, hooks can be imperative as Shiny. Hooked out position, saved by Miso, but still somewhat worse for the wear as he barely backs up in time.
Both teams still just poking out here. Hydration's taking an interesting spot up top. He's just taking that perch as the D.Va. Both teams rotating around, trying to find just as much poke damage as possible. Decent position right now for Selfless, though, as they've got a better spot on the point, making sure that CLG has to aggress upon them. First death will be Shake, and Fran takes him down.
And it's slow, but sure, Selfless is grinding this one out. They get the mechanical kills they need, and Defran is there on the cleanup. We'll have a Pulse Bomb up for the next fight as well, and you might be wondering, well, gee, why is Miso sticking around? Miso just wants to build ult, and very close to having Graviton up for the next fight, but not as close as Sinatra, who is also able to build that up, which means Big Bang Combo will be on deck.
Yeah, and the reason they stick around too is just to prevent the cap from happening earlier. It does prevent a little bit of percentage anyway, and the grab already comes out. Pulse Bomb follow-up. That fight's nearly over already.
And it's a swift Big Bang Combo, buys plenty of time for Selfless, and keeps CLG back. Now, the turnabout here is that they did just use those 2 ultimates, they're not going to be available, and Miso has a Graviton of his own. So, Miso, you gotta expect him to dive in with reckless abandon here, go for the quick grab, and we'll see what fall-through is there, but you'd expect it to come from iShiny, who is leading the charge, going, please, grab them now. Miso should oblige in just a moment.
They're going to boost Waffle-tastic before any of this starts. A Soundbarrier will react to this. Boost now goes out on Sinatra as well, and there's the Earth Shatter. Ends up with a couple of people on the ground. Most of this in favor of CLG, but a late couple D-Max and Mikado now down as well.
Sinatra with another Graviton, built that up in the middle of the fight, and sets up for 2 kills for Selfless.
It's, you know, like, it's the only person I've seen charge ults faster on Zarya is Harblue, and this is even putting Harblue to shame, how fast Sinatra is getting these grabs. It's insanity.
It's actually nuts, where it messes with the other team's judgment. You don't, if you're CLG there, you're not going, all right guys, look out for Sinatra having grab. No, he just grabbed you like 30 seconds ago. Why would he have that up again? And yet he did. Defran actually feeling sad that he doesn't have another Graviton to go with it, because he just built up his Pulse Bomb. Usually it's the other way around, but here comes Defran. Drops in the Pulse Bomb from behind, does not connect. The danger is passed for CLG. Now they move it forward once more.
It was a good Earth Shatter, but it got 4 people who are already behind the shield. Regardless of that, that is 2 extremely quick kills for Selfless. 6v4 now if they choose to fight, and they will not. They will back out, but they have to go in. They have to go fight.
They don't have time. It's 98%, 99%. They do force it into overtime, but this is going to be messy at best. Hydration, this is actually a good chance for a self-destruct. If he can send this into the air, maybe it catches him off guard. He's gonna have to do it soon, and no, this is gonna have to be a raw self-destruct on the ground. Will it connect? It does not. He dies before getting back into the mech, and Defran, a beautiful stick, removes Miso from the fight, dives in, grabs Shake. Goodbye and good night. Selfless will take the control center.
That is just surgical across the board, especially towards the end. You get the stick, you get the hook, everyone is hitting everything. And that's why they are so aggressive. They believe in their raw mechanics, and why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you not?
CLG is going back to Fair Mercy.
Oh, absolutely. If they don't go back to Fair and Mercy, I will be shocked. And there it is. Farah coming out, Shake on the Mercy, and it worked out well for them here in Night Market. The problem is for them is that even if they win this is the last time they get to play Night Market, so I guess one step at a time here for CLG.
I mean, it worked out well for them on Night Market, but it was still 99 to 99. It's not like it worked out well and they looked dominant against Selfless.
3, 2, 1. Round 4.
Well, Selfless moving on forward here will stick to the same ground and pound strategy. The hope is for them here that they're able to do enough damage despite Hydration being in the air, which has been easier said than done. So you see Defran coming in off the flank, the rest of Selfless coming in from the right, and Hydration in the skies with not a whole lot that can threaten him right now so long as he steers clear of Emon.
Yeah, he's just been kind of perched up on this junction box. Shake has to go in and get some heals onto other people that puts himself very vulnerable, and Shiny goes down regardless of Shake trying to get in there to heal him, so a few quick deaths and just not enough from Hydration. He gets Sinatra towards the end, but that is it. This will be Selfless taking first control.
Selfless taking the control, finishing out in the end, and again, I think for Selfless, they're more than content with the idea of Hydration, you need to beat us, and
yeah, they're
Hydration, it's one of those things where if Hydration doesn't hit rocket after rocket, it's going to be difficult because Selfless is really focusing on the ground war.
They're off of it. The Hydration is going to move over to Roadhog, Waffle is going to go to McCree, and Shake flips over to a Zenyatta. I guess you have to try something, and Mikado gets Pulse Bomb before the fight even starts. Time to retreat.
It's a good pick off by Defran, and we're seeing that more and more, by the way, where that was a time where you saw it maybe once or twice a map. Now it just feels so consistent where Tracer gets Pulse Bomb, Tracer kills someone in your backline, fight ends. Players have gotten so much better at pulse bomb in the last few months. It is actually scary.
You have to maybe imagine part of the composition changes are just to deal with the Tracer. I mean, you add in a Roadhog and a McCree, then you can read it like, oh my god!
Kresnik out of nowhere drops the hammer and drops CLG. CLG going, wow, how did we get back to our spawn?
Anyone get the number on that truck? My god, that was an enormous shatter. They're still so behind in ults. It's been so one-sided.
Hex, the hits keep on coming. Look at Sinatra. A flanking position now for Zarya. And actually just drops it right away and gets dropped in turn. I think that might have been a little bit rushed. Soundbear coming out here from CLG, and they're going to punish Sinatra. And by virtue, the side of Selfless for their hubris here.
That's exactly,
they probably deserve that.
That's the phrase I was going to use. Punished for their hubris as he just goes in. He lets him 5 feet out the door, and it's such a better position. But he decided, like, don't worry, guys. I got this. And just went in all alone, got himself deleted right away. But that's the confidence they were playing with, I guess.
Well, rumor has it that's Nacho's crouch key not working after that one. Not much you can press it for after a play like that. CLG, though, still fighting for their lives. They really only have a 2-fight buffer here, so every fight really important for them here. Shiny holding onto the Earth Shatter, looking for the right time to thread the needle. Doesn't have it just here yet. Wants it, gets it. Gets on the Sinatra, but not much else. But he does set up Sinatra. Oh, what a save! That is how you save your teammate from getting charged off the edge. As Sinatra making good use of his second life, grabbing on the shake. Ends up falling in the end, but Selfless making this a fight as Kresnik drops the hammer once more.
We'll drop the hammer a couple really quick down. Now Doc's going to come in and be the support for this team. They've got 2 supports and 2 tanks on point. Can't really ask for much more. And yet again, we're down to the last fight for Selfless. Remember, this is the set fight incoming here. They have to find something, but man, Defran again has a chance to end this. He's looking for it. He's looking for it.
Defran has basically set up shop and pays Ren in the corner. There's the stick. Goodbye, the waffle. Defran, though, pays for it with his life, so it's more of an even trade than perhaps Selfless would have liked. 5 versus 5 in this final fight. Sinatra powering on through. Instrumental and Gang Eye Shiny dead, but they give up the point. They had so many people alive and the point gets stuck. But there's a Graviton, pulls in 2, mostly dealt with by the Transcendence, and yet Kresnik coming in.
Kresnik just charged Shake's Transcendence right off the cliff. Spiritual wholeness will not defy gravity. Sinatra comes in and cleans up 2 more.
Sinatra piling through after Kresnik's noble sacrifice. Is it really noble sacrifice when you throw a meditating monk off a cliff? I just feel like that's a crime.
Noble kill you can